What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the Truth Talk Podcast, where this is part 3 of the series, The Armor of God. Today we are on Breastplate of Righteousness, semicolon, the oxygen. Is it semicolon or colon? The two dots, you know what I'm saying? Same thing. We're going to jump right in. Again, we're starting. Oh, let me pray. God, I thank you for bringing us here today. I thank you for allowing us to have this time to hear from you and to just be in your presence. God, I thank you for what you're going to speak today. I thank you for everyone that you're going to reach, everyone that you're going to talk to. I thank you for how you are going to talk through me, God. I pray that you would take even control of this episode. Let it go according to your will, and let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let me slow down. I'm all over the place. Okay, so we're starting in Ephesians 6:14. It's the same verse that we've been reading these past two episodes, but I just want to reiterate the fact that we are talking about the armor of God. So Ephesians 6:14, stand therefore having your loins girded about with truth, having on the breastplate of righteousness. So that's where we were getting the breastplate of righteousness from. So the first thing that he gave me regarding this topic was the fact that the breastplate obviously covers your chest, but it covers your heart. He had me dive into a little bit of what the natural heart does. A quick Google search will tell you that the heart does 4 main things. 1, pumps oxygen-rich blood. 2, receives oxygen-poor blood. 3, maintains blood pressure. And 4, keeps blood moving in one direction. So what he did was he kind of guided me through the natural components of the heart, and then he showed me how the spiritual components of the heart connect to that. Let's just go one by one, starting with pumps oxygen-rich blood, right? So the left side of the heart receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps it out to the rest of the body. And what he gave me on the spiritual heart was that the spiritual heart is what pumps out good or evil to the rest of your being, right? If you look at Matthew 12:34, O generation of vipers, how can ye being evil speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. So what is your spiritual heart receiving? What do you intake, right? What are the movies? I talk about this a lot. The movies, relationships you have, things that you read, things that you watch, how you spend your time, the things that you are taking in, what is that pumping out to the rest of your being, right? You're trying to figure out why you can't stop cussing, but every single day you're watching Wildin' Out, right? I say that because that's a conviction I used to have. That was my whole high school. I love me some Wildin' Out, but I had to stop because I'm like, I'm thinking people are talking and now suddenly I want to drop an F-bomb. And I'm like, I don't even talk like that. Where's that coming from? That would make sense if I'm watching this on a regular basis, right? So your spiritual heart pumps out whatever you have been taking in. And you can ask yourself, how do I know what is being pumped to the rest of my body? What fruits are you producing, right? If you are, I guess we'll go along the same example I just used. You're watching things that they're cussing all the time, and you're producing words that are not speaking life, right? He said, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And you're speaking to people and you're realizing that you can't speak gently, right? You don't have self-control. You don't have a rein over your mouth. And things just seem to be like jumping out of your mouth, right? You're not slow to speak or and you're swift to anger, right? Instead of swift to listen, you realize that you don't have as much control over your mouth as you would like to have. The fruit that you are producing in that area is not a fruit that the Bible describes, right? The Bible describes self-control. The Bible describes temperance and patience. And so you know what you are taking in by what you are putting out, right? What is flowing through your thoughts? What is flowing through your mind? If somebody angers you, what is the first thing that you want to say to them, right? Is it, excuse me, I forgive you, or is it F you? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's the wrong type of F. It's supposed to be forgiveness, not, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that would explain what you are taking in. As I said, it pumps oxygen rich blood. The left side receives oxygenated blood from the lungs, pumps it out to the rest of the body. Your spiritual heart does the exact same thing, right? You can't necessarily control what is going out, right? But you can control what comes in. You can't hide that. If you are having trouble controlling yourself or controlling your mouth, whatever it is, it's going to be seen, right? It's going to slip at some point, and it's all depending on what you're allowing into your spiritual heart, what you're allowing into your spirit, right? Okay, so that brings us to point two. The heart receives oxygen, poor blood. The right side of the heart, the natural heart, receives blood that's already delivered its oxygen to the body and pumps it back to the lungs to get more oxygen. So what he gave me here was the spiritual heart has discernment. 1 John 4:1, beloved, believe not, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Your spiritual heart is your discernment. Um, not so it's not just natural things, right? It's not, oh, this feels off, or um I don't think this is right, but it's actually like a spiritual aspect, right? Your spirit is telling you something is off. Your spirit is telling you, right, this blood is oxygen poor, right? To give you the natural example, there's something wrong about, we'll use we'll go back to the show, right? There's something wrong about this show. What is it about this show that is not sitting right with my spirit? God, let me know. What about this doesn't have the things in it that are nurturing to my body, right? If we're going along the vein of oxygen, the vein, yeah, if we're going along the vein of oxygen, right, what am I pumping into my body that is poor? It's oxygen poor, right? That I'm watching this thing and I'm now pumping in anger, or I'm pumping in hatred, or I'm pumping in just things that are not good for the body. Um, and what your natural heart does is it not only makes you aware of that, but it gets that out, right? When you are aware of it, you can get rid of the things that are not supposed to be in there, right? The natural heart um, takes that oxygen poor blood and pumps it back up to the lungs for it to get oxygen again, right? So your spiritual heart is going to be like, hey, this is wrong. Let me try this spirit, give it to God. God, is the spirit right? No, the spirit is not right. Okay. So give me what I need to have, and then replace it with that thing in me that's not right, right? Think of God as the lungs, which makes sense, right? He breathes life into us. God, take this spirit and tell me if it is good or not. It's not good. Okay, take it from me and give me what I need instead, right? So it's receiving oxygen poor blood, or things that you don't need into your body, and you are trying it and testing it against the spirit of God. Um, what do I need to leave, right? Asking yourself, what do I need to stop listening to? Who do I need to stop hanging around? What are things that I need to stop doing that are not nourishing to my body, right? And it's important to know that, because oxygen poor blood just takes up space, right? The first thing that blood does when it delivers its oxygen after coming back from the lungs is it goes back up, right? It's not sitting there lingering and just sitting around the body taking up space. But the second it's not useful anymore, you send it back up to get more oxygen for the nutrients of the body, right? You don't allow anything into your spirit that is not beneficial for the kingdom, that is not of God, right? You don't allow things to just sit in your spirit that are not meant to be there, because not only is it just taking up space, but it is corrupting you, right? If our bodies were full of just oxygen poor blood, we'd be dead, right? You wouldn't be full of anything, we'd just be dead, right? So it's the same thing in the spirit. Many times, oftentimes, the natural is a reflection of the spiritual a reflection of the natural. Anytime oxygen poor blood is in the body, it's sent out, right? So you think of the same thing when you're thinking of your spiritual heart, right? You got to keep that in mind. Do not let um, spirits, that's just what it is. Do not let spirits that are not meant to be there take up space. Take up space in your house, take up space in your room, in your car, right? things that are inviting those spirits in, you get them out. People that are inviting those spirits in, you get them out, right? Yeah, that's basically what that is. Number 3, maintains blood pressure. The natural heart creates the pressure needed to move blood through the vessels, excuse me. Um, the spiritual heart sets the precedent. Luke 6:45. Um, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and then vice versa. An evil man out of the evil of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil, right? You cannot hide what's in your heart. Matthew 10:26, fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. So whatever's in your heart sets the precedent for who you are. You cannot be an evil person and hide that, right? No matter how good you are at manipulation, it's gonna come out, right? You can try to go through your day-to-day life with a smile on your face and being fake to people, but eventually that evil that you have inside of you, the way that you think about people, the way that you talk about people behind closed doors, it's going to come out, right? Most people know that, have seen it sometime in their life, right? If you've been cheated on, right, it comes out. No matter how long it's been hid, no matter how long they've been with whoever they've been with, it comes out. I'm not sure why I just went there, but if that is for somebody, God's talking to you. um it's not going to be hid forever, right? The second that light enters a room, darkness has to leave, right? So especially if someone is evil and you have discernment, you have the light of God in your life, that evil cannot hide, right? Like I just said, darkness has to leave in the presence of light. If you are around and your discernment is working and your relationship with God is where it's supposed to be, um, it will be shown, right? Your heart sets the precedent in the same way that your natural heart sets the blood pressure for how things are supposed to be. Whoever you are is determined in your heart. You cannot claim to be a good person and have an evil heart, right? You can't claim to love people, but every chance you get, you're stabbing someone in the back, right? That is who you are. You can't hide that. And if your heart is evil or your heart is good, that you can't walk around doing bad things to people, right? Say God allowed me to have a good heart, right? He's been working on me, all these other things. Even if I used to be evil, even if there were things that I used to do, they're not going to sit right with me anymore, right? I might try to manipulate you, but now that God has changed me, created me a clean heart, renew a right spirit within me, right? I could try to be evil towards you, but that's going to affect me, right? Your heart dictates who you are. It doesn't matter who you claim to be or who you say you are or you think you are. At the end of the day, whoever your heart is who you are. Your heart sets the precedent for the rest of your being, the rest of your life, right? And I'm not saying that people can't change, but what I'm saying is that what's in your heart will always come out and it'll always be shown. And whether it's how you speak, how you act, how you carry yourself, your attitude, your demeanor. When you walk into a room, are you lighting it up? Are you sucking out the air? Right? Everyone knows somebody where they walk into the room, everyone's like, oh, today about to be rough. Like everybody knows somebody like that. And you can tell what's in their heart simply by how they act or how they interact with you. And the last one, number 4, your natural heart keeps blood moving in one direction. Valves in the heart make sure blood flows the right way. It doesn't go backwards. Your spiritual heart leads you in the direction that you should go. So there's a lot of verses on this actually. First one, Psalms 37:23, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Proverbs 3:6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, he shall direct thy path. Psalm 23:3, he restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. And I could go on because God puts an emphasis on allowing him to lead your path. A spiritual heart that is working the way it should be, right? A spiritual heart that is in alignment with God's will, that is good, that is not evil, that is in constant communication with him, will lead you the way in which you're supposed to go, right? It's not just follow your heart, right? I'm not saying follow your heart, but I'm talking about a spiritual heart. Spiritual heart meaning I should have gave that beforehand, right? What I mean by spiritual heart. What I mean by spiritual heart is the part of you and the part of your spirit that is in communication with God. When I say spiritual heart, I am talking about the part of your being that God works through, right? So when I say the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, what I'm saying is, as we've been saying, good man versus evil man is dependent on your heart posture, right? And how your heart is. If you are being led in a way where you are not pleasing God, your heart is not good. Your spiritual heart is not good, right? If every time something happens, your first instinct is to cuss someone out or to hurt somebody or to resort to violence, right? You are not being led in the direction that the Lord is telling you to go, because that's simply not who God is, right? He said, He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for His name's sake. So when He gives us this spiritual heart that I was talking about earlier, created me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within you. When He creates that clean heart in you, it is for His name's sake, right? It is not for you to just walk around and be like, I'm good, you're evil, I'm better than you, point blank, period. No, what you are doing is you are walking around representing Jesus, right? We are meant to be lights here on earth. We are the light of the world, right? Salt of the earth. I might be misquoting that, but you get the gist. We are here to represent God. So when He creates in us that new heart and decides to lead us and decides to direct our paths and to allow us to go in directions that please Him, it is for His glory and it is to draw other people in. So if you are being led and you can't figure out how to do anything but talk about other people, you just living in gossip. You set up a tent, you have a kitchen, you have a living room, you have incense, you have a garage, you have a 3-car garage. You get what I'm saying? I'm ranting a little bit. But you living in gossip. You're not being led by God. How do I know? Because God doesn't ever speak words that would tear somebody down, right? We are not here to tear other people down. That's why He puts such an emphasis on the way that we speak. This is off a little bit, but I fear the Spirit going there is a huge importance placed on our words, right? You look in the Bible, and He created the earth based off of His words. Every fish of the sea, every plant of the ground, every tree, every fruit was created from His words. So if we are made in His image, and I've said this multiple times before, but if we are made in His image and He creates something out of nothing using just His words, our words are also meant to bring life. Now, can we just walk around saying, come to life, and it's outside of His will? No, but spiritually speaking, we can bring people to life, right? You speak over your children. You are smart. You are beautiful. You are precious. You are handsome, whatever it is. But growing up, you're not going to go around telling your child that they're dumb. You're not going to go around telling your child they can't do this or you can't do that. You grow up, you tell your child you can be whoever you want to be, right? Because you recognize the importance of how your words affect their life, right? Whatever you grew up hearing is most likely what you are going to end up being, right? If you grew up your whole entire life with your parents telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're going to be this and you're going to be that, that's most likely what you're going to be. It's not that you can't go outside of that, but that's what you have gotten into your heart and that's what you now believe. That was off, but he had me going there really quick to be mindful of your words. Even cussing, there is nothing life-giving, life-bringing about cussing, right? You're walking around F this, F that, S this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, right? The rest of the alphabet, whatever words you are using, they're not bringing life, right? Now, is it a heaven or hell issue? That's not my place to decide. But when you think of God and you think of God's character, do you think of God being pleased with someone who is using their language to tear someone down or using such vulgar, offensive language when speaking to His children, right? This is very off topic, but this is where I feel the Lord is leading me right now, to be mindful of your words, be mindful of how you are talking to people, be mindful of what you are saying about people, whether they hear you or not. If you are talking about people behind their back, you're saying they can't do this or they're this and they're that. Your words have power, and you need to be mindful of how you are speaking about God's children. Um, feel very strongly there. I feel very strong. I'm trying to get back on topic, but that might be the topic we're ending on. Um, your heart sets the precedent for who you are going to be, for who you are, for how people perceive you, um, for how you are going to act, for how you're going to live. You need to take special care of your heart and what you allow into your heart to be able to fully please God and be in his will. I'm trying to end on the heart topic, but he keep going back to words. I hear you, God. I think I said it already, but I just keep hearing that. An emphasis on how you speak. I don't know who he's talking to. He could be talking to me as well, because I know I have a problem getting mad at people. But your words bring life or your words can bring death. You decide which one you are going to allow to prosper. I'm going to end it there. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm going to end it there before I start speaking in tongues. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.